Welcome back to the Archive Network. Aurelius here, with Malik, curators of the Classified Archive. We left acoustic weapons research last time as investigations continue. The revelations surrounding the LRAD have sparked debates about the need for clear guidelines governing their use. Today, we pick up where we left off. The investigation into acoustic weapons has always been shrouded in a veil of secrecy. But over the decades, we've seen concrete evidence emerge. In the early 2000s, for instance, Freedom of Information Act requests led to the unveiling of a trove of documents. These documents revealed the U.S. military's ongoing research into sonic weaponry, exposing how seriously they were exploring the potential of sound as a weapon. It's a reminder of how governments often operate in the shadows, pursuing technologies that can shift the balance of power.
However, this isn't just about concealed research. It's about how these weapons affect real lives, everyday people. The documents reveal intentions, but they also hide the consequences that ripple through communities. Families are torn apart, children grow up in fear, and the emotional scars run deep. The voices of those impacted often get lost in these discussions, overshadowed by numbers and strategies. We need to remember them, to hear their stories, because they matter just as much.
Among these documents was a key report from DARPA, dated May 2002. It detailed the development of a long-range acoustic device, or LRAD. This marked a remarkable shift in military technology. The LRAD could incapacitate targets without inflicting permanent harm, or at least that's what the military asserted. Of course, we know that such claims often come with a side of exaggeration. The promise of non-lethal options seems appealing, but it raises questions about the ethics of their use in conflict.
But let's not overlook the implications here. The claim of non-lethal is a really dangerous narrative. What defines harm anyway? Sure, there might not be visible injuries, but the psychological impacts can be profound. Think about the people affected, their mental health, their daily lives. We've got to question who gets to define these boundaries. It's not just about what's on paper. It's about real lives, real suffering. We owe it to those impacted to have this conversation.
The first public demonstration of the LRAD took place on July 11, 2005, at a naval base in San Diego, where the U.S. Coast Guard proudly showcased this groundbreaking technology. Eyewitnesses were taken aback when they heard the sound reach an astonishing 150 decibels, comparable to a jet engine. It was so powerful that it could incapacitate individuals and effectively control crowds. In a world where crowd management is increasingly necessary, this reveals the lengths to which authorities will go.
A powerful demonstration, yes, but also a terrifying one. Many who experienced it felt completely overwhelmed, almost as if they were under attack. One journalist described it as a physical assault on the senses. We really need to think about how deploying such weapons changes the dynamic between authorities and civilians. It's not just about the technology. It's about the people affected. Families are torn apart, communities are shaken, and trust erodes. How do we heal from that?
Critics, including human rights advocates, have raised alarms about the potential misuse of these devices. While they're marketed as non-lethal, the risk of permanent hearing damage is a serious concern. The military, however, sees them as necessary tools for maintaining order. But we have to ask ourselves, what are the ethical implications of using such technology? Are we really prepared to accept the collateral damage that might come with it? This is a question we must confront as we look at history.
The ethical implications are significant. Using acoustic weapons for crowd control, especially during protests, really raises serious questions about our values. Just look at the 2011 Occupy Wall Street protests in New York City. The NYPD deployed an LRAD, and it created a chilling atmosphere that stifled dissent. People who were there felt the tension. It wasn't just about managing the crowd. It was about silencing voices. We need to think about the human cost of these actions.
Eyewitness accounts described the situation as a sudden escalation. One protester mentioned it felt like a physical attack, a jarring experience that left many shaken. The deployment of ILRAD blurred the lines between maintaining order and suppressing dissent in a way that's hard to ignore. We're witnessing how military technology seeps into domestic contexts, reshaping our understanding of public safety. This moment forces us to question where the boundaries lie and how power is wielded on our streets.
And we can't ignore the international context here. Back in 2010, reports surfaced about the Israeli military using similar devices in Gaza. The Israeli Defense Forces faced serious backlash for deploying acoustic weapons to control crowds. It makes you wonder, are these really tools meant for peacekeeping, or are they just instruments of oppression? We have to remember the human cost behind these choices. Real people are affected, and we need to think about their stories.
As scrutiny grew, the narrative around acoustic weapons became increasingly complex. The debate intensified, especially when human rights organizations like Amnesty International stepped in. They condemned the use of these devices, citing severe potential violations of human rights. Suddenly, the ethical conversation shifted drastically, forcing us to confront uncomfortable truths about state power and the lengths empires will go to maintain control. It's a reminder that technology in warfare often raises more questions than it answers.
The complexities are undeniable. We can't overlook how extreme sound levels affect people psychologically. They can lead to lasting trauma. And research dating back to the 1970s shows that some individuals develop PTSD from these experiences. Think about the long-term impacts on their lives. It's not just about the technology. We have to confront the real human cost of deploying such powerful tools. We owe it to those affected to understand what they endure.
As investigations continue, the revelations surrounding the ILRAD are igniting heated debates among lawmakers. We really need clear guidelines governing the use of acoustic weapons, and we need them now. Accountability is crucial as these technologies evolve. It's a tightrope we're walking, trying to balance security with human rights. History shows us that when we prioritize one over the other, the consequences can be dire. We must navigate this carefully if we want to avoid repeating past mistakes.
That's where we leave it this time. Acoustic weapons research continues. The story isn't finished yet. Find a full series on the Classified Archive, part of the Archive Network. We'll be back with the next chapter.